Well, hello there. I haven't done this in a long time, but I have a bunch of stuff to catch you guys up on. Now, I recorded this a few months ago, so I'm going to pop in every now and then to update a little bit more. This is sort of like one of those talking head videos, and that isn't actually what I want to upload onto this channel. I really like the idea of recording little clips of my life and my health journey and stuff, and then doing a bit of a voiceover over it. So, what you're going to be watching today isn't necessarily what you're going to see on my channel, but I think it's really important that I sit down and kind of go over everything. Because it's kind of crazy, guys. I have a brain tumor. So in 2025, in June, I started getting these headaches slash migraine slash back neck pain, which was really, really awful. And it was hard to do anything really. I'm going to put some photos up of some of the things that I did. Of course, I did go to the doctor eventually, and he also thought that it was neck related. And I ended up going to the physio. She thought that it was migraines. So I started taking aspirin every day. Not sure if that helped. It just wasn't getting much better. And my physio was like, okay, you need to go back to the doctor because I don't think what I'm doing is helping. And there might be something else going on. And the doctor was like, okay, MRI, let's go. We're going to see what's actually going on with your head. I booked the MRI 2 weeks ahead. It would have been late-ish August when my MRI was actually booked. I will say that during this time of having headaches and stuff, my friends were so sweet and kind. I had to cancel a bunch of outings, and especially one of my friends was actually leaving the country. So it was really hard during this time because I had these headaches, but it's sort of one of those invisible disabilities where everyone thinks I look fine, but actually I am in pure agony. I have this MRI scan booked. And then the day before it gets so bad, the pain, where I don't remember this, but I'm waking up in the middle of the night screaming, according to Ethan. Yeah, so that isn't good. The next morning, Ethan was like, it's not any better. We're going to the ER. And thank God we did that. So in the emergency room, they did a CAT scan, and then they realized, oh, there is a giant mass in your brain. We need to get you to the big hospital. So I'm in hospital for 12 days, which felt like forever, especially that first week, because what they did, I can't remember exactly. I think I was there for like a day or two, and then they did a biopsy surgery. That's why I have this little alfalfa at the front of my head, because they shaved like a little strip here so then they could go into my head and grab a little bit of the tumor, then test and see what it actually is. And also because they had already drilled a hole in there, they were able to put a tube, and for a week, I think it was nearly a week, I had this tube coming out of my brain for all of the extra fluid to go out of. So that was really fun. I was literally drain girl for a little bit. It was so fun. Now, during this time, they were trying to see if my brain could get used to draining itself. Basically, in a normal working body, your brain has these fluids in it. It's kind of washing over your brain at all times. When your brain is done with those fluids, they kind of naturally go down into your spine and get filtered throughout your body that way. But I had a tumor in the way. So this tumor was like right in there, blocking it. Ventricle. I'm so bad at words. I got all my papers here, well, some of them. Tumor biopsy, third ventricle. I don't know what that means. There's more than one ventricle? I thought there was just one. Anyway, it's in there, like at the front, kind of touching my optic nerves and kind of pushing against my short-term memory as well. It's kind of like really up in there, so they don't want to cut it out. They were trying to train my spine to see if it could drain the fluid by itself, but it wouldn't. So there were a few days there where I was in complete agony. They couldn't put me on like the really good painkillers because I had a brain tumor, and I suppose like those just don't go hand in hand. So I was on liquid Panadol a lot, morphine and fentanyl sometimes, but mainly just the Panadol and sometimes morphine when it was like really painful. So the results of the biopsy were that I have a low-grade pyloid glioma. Now, don't look up glioma, it's kind of scary, but very luckily, I have the low grade, so it's slow growing. I've probably had it for a very long time, maybe even since I was a kid, and for some reason last year, it just got aggravated, and I'm not sure if it grew the most last year. I was going through a lot of stressful stuff, but it kind of just like came to the surface, I suppose. Since my brain couldn't handle the fluid by itself, we needed to do something drastic. A brain shunt. It was so scary when they first told me about this. It's still kind of scary and gross. I basically have a tube that runs from here, goes down behind my ear, down my chest, and then it expels the fluid around my stomach lining. Yeah. I know it sounds so gross, and it is kind of gross, and it felt really gross when I was like at the beginning of recovery because I could physically feel the tube. Oh, thank God that like I've kind of got used to it now. Oh my gosh. To put in the brain shunt, we had to have a second brain surgery, so that was fun. I don't remember them, by the way. They thankfully knocked me out. I'd never had anesthesia before, but the first time that I went in for the biopsy, my anesthesia nurse was singing Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, so that was really fun. That was like the last thing that I heard. Anyways, back to the brain shunt surgery. It went really, really well. And because it's sort of like a common surgery as well, they allowed me to go home the next day for recovery as an outpatient. So that was really great. I have to say that, like, I was there for 12 days, just like observing the room. Like, I think they moved me 3 times. But the main area that I was in was like an observation kind of wing. It's not that I was like in the high risk area, but I was sort of like just after surgery, they need to watch you kind of area. And there were a bunch of other people next to me who also had just gone through brain surgeries. There were some extreme kind of cases, and I definitely kind of was counting my blessings that like I was doing all right. The doctors and nurses were so incredible, honestly. Like, especially the nurses, they really took care of me. And the doctors, I mean, I have no clue some of the stuff that they're telling me. I've done a lot of research after getting out of hospital, but I just kind of let them take the reins, and I was like, whatever you say. They have like a whole team discussing my brain and what to do next. I even think they told me that they mapped out my brain before they did the biopsy. Like, they really wanted to make sure that they didn't nick anything that didn't need to be. Now, I just want to also mention a big thank you to my friends and family for being there for me, especially during that first week where I was both in a lot of pain and also had this weird feeling of the unknown, waiting for those results. It was quite terrifying, and having my friends especially come visit me while I was in hospital. I know I probably looked like a zombie and probably couldn't even interact with them properly, but it really meant a lot to me that they were there for me, you know? That was really sweet. And of course, I had a bunch of family who just happened to be visiting during that time too, and my mother-in-law came down to help out. I'm just feeling very grateful, to everyone who was there for me during that time. Now, in my video, I don't talk about what happened when I was actually discharged. I was in a lot of pain, so I didn't actually record a lot or anything really during those first few weeks of healing. But Ethan and his mum did so, so much for me. I am so incredibly lucky to have them. I couldn't be more thankful, honestly. So what's happening right now is I'm actually undergoing IVF treatment to freeze my eggs because I'm going to be having chemo for most of this year, maybe even into the next year, depending when we actually start. They haven't told me when I'm going to start. They said late January, but I don't quite know the actual date yet. With chemo, there is a chance that I may become infertile or that it will affect my eggs. So I have been accepted into a program where they allow me to have 2 cycles of my eggs taken and frozen, which is so exciting. Even though I am still kind of young, they understand that I'm 30 now and I'm kind of thinking about maybe having a family in the near future. So this is sort of a very important thing that they've allowed me to do. It's been really hard though because I hate needles, and that's one of the main things that you have to do.
When you're ready.
Never ready. So I've been taking daily needles, they're hormones, so then my body will produce more eggs at once because usually you would only produce one at a time, right? But they want as many as possible. So a few weeks ago, I had my first retrieval procedure. So they did put me under anesthesia, but it was a general one where I just have the mask. It wasn't the full on what I had with brain surgeries. It still was kind of cool though. I like that they put the mask on and then it goes a little bit dizzy and then I'm just out and then I wake up and they're like, you're all done. So yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of doing my second cycle with them. So tomorrow I'm actually going to get my first ultrasound and then I guess they'll let me know how many eggs we got cooking. In the first cycle, we were able to get 10 successfully frozen. And we did have 14 to 17 at one point. So that kind of gives you an idea of how many kind of survive the whole process. Honestly, the second round, I haven't felt as huge and bloated as I did the first time. I definitely have put on some weight though, so we're gonna have to work on that to get that off in the near future because your girl feeling bloated and full of egg. I'm going to finish this cycle and then later, I think not next week, maybe the week after, I have my oncology appointment. And I think that's when they're going to tell me when my chemo will start. I'm not sure if this is concrete. This is the information page that they gave me for the kind of treatment that they were planning on giving me. This says carboplatin, and they did tell me it's a platinum treatment. And whenever I talk to other doctors about it, they are like, ooh, platinum. Ooh, that one's kind of rough. I'm kind of just torn. I'm just going with the flow, I'm just gonna do what they're telling me to do because they believe that this will pretty much cure my tumor because they can't cut it out. It's too risky. It might cause me to go blind or have memory issues or hormonal issues. So this is the only way forward. We don't want it to grow anymore because it's already quite large. I feel emotionally I've taken this quite well. I've definitely had my low moments, but your girl is off her antidepressants. I stopped taking them months prior because I thought they were causing the headaches. I stopped taking all of my medications. And because I had been off my antidepressants for at least a month or two before going through the hospital whole process, I was really surprised that I didn't get really depressed or anything while I was in hospital. I guess it kind of fueled me a little bit, like this feeling of like second wind. I really want to achieve my goals a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. I would like to try to upload on this channel more often. I've actually had so much fun just like filming little things here and there. If you guys have any questions, I know that I'm a little bit of a scatterbrain. I do have ADHD as well, so I'm sorry if my explanation was not that good. Any questions down below, I will answer them. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for coming along with me on this journey.
Are you going to leave your 30 minutes of mental breakdown after doing the needle in the video?
And this is where I'm going to sit for 30 minutes. Oh.